class week 7. We covered particles. I already did the first video on particle playground. It's the fastest and easiest to mess around with. And obviously a super useful tool in there is the layer exploder. I'm going to hide. No, I'm going to make a new pre-comp, not a new, sorry, new composition. Click the new composition button right here next to the bits per channel. And I'm going to call this one Particle Systems 2. Alright, now I'm going to go layer new solid. Make it comp size, hit OK. Color is not important because it's not going to be using any of that information, just the size of the layer. So I double clicked on Particle Systems 2, hit the space bar, and there we have it. I've got my resolution down. I'm going to boost it up just so that we can see what's going on here. So birth rate, obviously same thing. How many particles are coming out per second? Let's change that to 100. And you see it's dramatically changed. There's far more particles coming out. Longevity, how long they're on the scene. As I said before, a particle, it's whatever you want to be that particle. It's going to come onto the screen, live for a certain amount of time, do something, then go away and die. So if they're on the screen longer, I'll change this 2 to a 10. And already you see there's more particles. Producer, we've already covered. You can change the position with the producer. Radius in X and Y, how X is side to side, Y is up and down. So if I want this to be very narrow, I'll hit 1. And if I want to go very tall, I'll hit 100. And you see I'm already getting a different look as it's going through. So I'm going to change this to 50 and 10. And you see it's dramatically different. The particles are behaving differently as we go along. Random seed is just how random overall the effects will be. I'm going to change that back to 0. Physics will show the different motion of the particles. This is explosive. If I did twirly, they're going to be twirling around as if it were a hurricane. Twirly, same thing. You can sorry, you can experiment with the different settings. What I'm going to do is make separate video tutorials on this for the tornado type look I did in class, as well as the smiley face using this, as well as parenting a null. I'm just going over the settings for this. Of velocity, how far away the particles are moving from one another. Inherent velocity, if it's basically what they're starting off with. Gravity, if I go negative, it's pulling the particles upward. And if I go positive, it's pulling them downward. So positive, they behave as if they were on Earth. They're being pulled down. Negative, they float up to the sky. Resistance, how much the gravity is affecting the particles. You already saw that. Change drastically. Direction, the direction that they're moving. And as I said before, extra is just a little bit of random. You can start seeing them rotate around one another. Particle, type of particle you want to use. These are lines. If I change it to stars, I've got stars, whatever I want. And don't forget, textures are, well, this is going to be particle playground. I mean, particle world will have the texture. So I'm not even going to bother going in here with it because I can't really do what I want with that saying. So birth, how big they are at birth. Death, how small they are when they die. So I'm going to make this like that. And then over time, we'll make them live a lot shorter. So we'll change this 10 to a 1. Birth rate 2. So as I move forward and zoom out, you'll see the particles getting smaller as they die, and they're very large when they're born. Opacity map, it's set to fade out over time. If I do constant, they're constantly the same. Maximum opacity, if I change this, lower it, the most it'll be is 34% opacity. Obviously your color map, birth to death, you can make it whatever color you want at the beginning or the end. And you can always change your colors down here. I'm just going to keep this origin constant just for the sake of things. Composite, here's your transfer mode. Screen, they're going to get brighter as they build up on top of one another. Add, they'll get a lot brighter as they build up on top of one another. The more particles you have, the hotter this will become, and you'll lose dynamic range. To combat that, option click on your bits per channel over here, and you're already getting back a lot more information that you were originally losing. And as I said before, random will randomize your motion. This is the fast tutorial on particle systems too, because we've covered most of it. I was just going more into the physics behind it, showing what will happen when you change the physics, along with keyframing over time is what you can do with this system. But we're going to get far more into particles with Particle World.